uncertain political environment or fear of regime change greatly hampers a government's ability and affects its willingness to take long-term decisions beyond the short-term 5-year election horizons. And I think reforms are all about long-term decisions. I don't know if the present government has or had any plans to implement the required economic reforms like broadening of the tax net, etc., etc. But even if it did, it wouldn't in the present circumstances. The ongoing political turmoil is one of the reasons the government has not pursued the IMF funding program as diligently as it should have, in spite of our weakening balance of payment position and the growing pressures on exchange rate and rising inflation, record inflation. If you recall, the previous finance minister, Miftah Ismail, had imposed a small tax on the electricity bills of shopkeepers. The purpose was to basically document the economy, but that tax was withdrawn after a few weeks because the ruling PMLN could not afford turning the traders against it at a time when the opposition PTI was or still is putting pressure on it for early elections. So yes, the government's ability to implement economic reforms and long-term policies is hindered greatly by the ongoing political turmoil in the country. Sufficient evidence based on international studies exists that political instability in a country forces governments to take short-term decisions at the cost of long-term planning, beyond the 5-year election horizons. Then this also compels governments to take certain imprudent economic decisions like doling out huge subsidies and giving tax breaks to keep voters and powerful business lobbies on their side. This affects their budgets and is done at the cost of fiscal discipline, which is a major reason for economic instability in any country. Then we see that politically uncertain environment also keeps investors from putting their capital in that economy, which is actually, essential to create jobs and increase industrial output. So the combination of these negative factors creates macroeconomic imbalances in the economy and leads to higher inflation and weaker exchange rate, which in turn again feed more into the economic instability in the country. Some individual economists like Dr. Ishrat Hussain, the former governor of the State Bank of Pakistan, and research institutions like Pakistan Institute of Development Economists have done some thorough work on the linkages between political instability in the country and the economic performance of different governments since independence. All these studies have concluded that political uncertainty or politically unstable environment directly and negatively impacts on the performance of governments.